So, welcome everybody to a new session, a very fascinating session about quantum physics today. Today is going to be the beginning of a series. I called it Quantum Living, and, and I have used the word quantum in pretty much all the lives that I have scheduled. That, if you are not aware of, I have scheduled lives from now all the way to, I believe, for almost March. So today is an introduction to this idea of quantum living, how to use quantum physics, how to mix spirituality, healing, consciousness, energy, vibration, frequency, all these topics, how to include them all, and then how to apply them practically in every area of your life. And I feel really passionate about talking about this because I'm planning on covering every topic that I talk about, every topic that I have content courses about, and I am planning on diving deeper with you into how can we use this information to every area of those lives that I talked about, like decluttering your home. How does this theory, this quantum physics theory, and this vibration, how does that go into decluttering your home, into managing your time, into feeling aligned with what you are doing so that you can prioritize, into the way you use your executive functioning skills, um, in the way that you communicate with other people, in the way that you communicate your truth and set your boundaries and do it from a place of love, not from a place of feeling anger. So there are lots of opportunities. Also talk about abundance, about money, finances. Um, yeah, sacred sexuality. I think I did one too. So we're gonna be diving deeper into the specifics of each of those areas. Not today. Today, my intuition told me that it will be really good to do an introduction, to present all these ideas, to introduce all these topics, to bring some names from people who are doing work around this, to bring some quotes and some sentences and kind of popular sayings that apply to these concepts. And I think all of these things will help set the tone, uh, introduce all this theory, all these concepts, all these strategies, however you want to call them, and plant seeds. My idea, my intention is to plant a lot of seeds in you, in myself, so that I can keep exploring and feel excited about this and keep receiving ideas on how to use this in my life, and then how to help communicate this to others, and how to also witness you doing it and learning from that. So let's start with Singing Bowl. Let's start by transitioning into the session, by reminding ourselves why we are here. So the invitation is for you to slow down, to close your eyes if you can, to pay attention to your breath. Allow yourself to breathe a few times very deeply. And notice if you have any tensions in your body. Notice what's present with you about this session. Maybe you are feeling curiosity. Maybe you are feeling triggered or challenged. Maybe you are feeling excitement. Maybe you are very familiar with all of this and it's second nature for you. Maybe you have never thought or listened to any of this and this is your first time ever. Just notice where you are. Notice what you feel. And just be present with it. Yeah, and I invite you to come back when you feel ready. Come back to the session and feel free to share if you want about anything that came up for you. Maybe how are you feeling about this topic, or maybe what you would like to learn. So Lorette says, "Will you do a course, Emilio, on these topics?" I don't know, Lorette. If I can be completely honest with you, this series came alive in me a couple of weeks ago. I think is when I decided that I was thinking, what can I do next for my podcast? What can I do next for Inside Timer Lives? And I was trying to find passionate topics for myself. And I've been listening a lot to these topics lately. I've been learning a lot about these things, really reflecting about all these concepts of energy, vibration, the law of attraction, and things that are happening in my life. And an idea came to me to really have a look at everything that I have done so far, and then have a look from this perspective. Because I've been having conversations with people, and some of those conversations happen in the winter circle that I'm hosting every week on Wednesdays. And you are welcome to join. It's every Wednesday, and you can find all the information if you go to my profile link. You can find information there on how to join. But there were so many beautiful conversations about this, and some of the ideas that came is like, why are we placing so much attention to, for example, the idea of being efficient, the idea of managing our time efficiently, and if we look at time management, for example, from this perspective that I am about to share with you, most likely all the topics that we have learned about will become irrelevant. And we will look at time management from a completely different point of view. The same with decluttering your home, the same with communicating with others, the same with practicing self-care, the same with using your executive functioning skills. So it really brings a brand new perspective and a whole lot of new ideas on how to do this differently. So my intention for this series is to dive deeper with you, to share my passion and excitement about this. I don't know everything. I don't know a lot. I'm just learning. I'm just passionate. I'm just willing to be courageous enough to bring this here with you. And I don't pretend to have all the answers at all. But I do bring a lot of curiosity, and I do bring a lot of enthusiasm, and I do bring a lot of ability to take these concepts and make them practical. And I also invite always to all of my sessions the universe, my guides, my intuition, and I am not alone here. And I trust that whatever needs to happen, it will happen. So to put some context about why I am inspired before we dive into the concepts, I just did a quick standing meditation before this session for like 8 minutes. And I started to connect with, and I feel even emotional. Wow, so powerful. I started to connect with when did I get started with all of this, and why was I inspired or excited about this? And I think I was probably, 12, 13, when I don't know how I found a cassette from Louise Hay. And I was listening to it every night. And from that, I don't know if I read some books from her, but I connected with the idea of creating affirmations. And then I was telling myself, affirmations every day? And I don't know why I'm crying. Something is coming up. But basically, every day I will repeat these affirmations to myself, right? And I will ask the universe for what I wanted, and I will follow the signs, follow the synchronicities, like life was an adventure. And then I will be courageous enough to, anytime I felt that something was happening and it was a sign from the universe for me to take action on something, I will follow it. And following that, I remember getting a beautiful van, a Volkswagen, that I bought for 6,500 euros, and I found it randomly, and I used it for 2 or 3 years, and I sold it for like $3,000 more, and I had a lot of fun with it. I remember finding my first apartment, and there was a line of people waiting for the apartment, and the guy couldn't open the door, and I remember that I asked for the key, and I put the key inside, and I was able to open the door. And then there was people in front of me to get the apartment, but I got it. I don't know how I got it. And like this, so many other stories, right? So I was passionate about this since a very early age. And I also connected with when my sister was 14 years old and I was 13, and then she developed schizophrenia. Yeah, life was really difficult. And I remember going to this psychologist that was treating my sister and having a conversation with him. And he said, wow, you look like a very, what did he say? You look like a very interested person for your age. And then he recommended a book from Dr. Wayne Dyer, Your Erroneous Sons. And yeah, so all that stuff was happening. And then I just recognized how early in my life I was interested in all these topics. So yeah, this is excitement. I mean, there is sadness, there is a lot of struggle there. There is lots of experiences that are coming up that I wasn't expecting, but I honor them. And the idea is that this topic excites me. This topic is, it's interesting. This topic is needed. And for some reason, I have to share these things with you. So I'm not gonna self-doubt myself. I'm not going to get on the way. And I'm just gonna do what I feel I need to do, even though sometimes it doesn't make sense logically. So the first that I would like to do is to really share what is quantum physics, right? Because some of you maybe don't know that. When I was starting, I had no idea. But quantum physics is basically the science that studies the vibration, energy, possibility, that reality behaves differently at the smallest levels, and that things are not fixed. So there is one of the principles of quantum physics is the observer effect. And they have proven that when you look at an atom and there are electrons that are kind of like flashing around the nucleus, right? They are just flashing everywhere. They say that if no one is observing, the electrons don't appear. And when there is an observer expecting something to appear, the electrons will appear right there. So there is an observer's effect. And this really tells us that what we focus on is changing what we are experiencing. So when we focus on something, that something appears. Because if there is not an observer, it won't appear. So that was something fascinating that I was feeling like, wow, like how is that possible? So basically where attention goes, energy flows. That sentence that we all are aware of is so powerful, right? Because if you are paying attention to a specific area and you are observing something, it's going to appear there. But if no one observes that, it won't appear. So the reality is not collapsing if no one is looking at it. So that's one thing, right? There is another concept called quantum entanglement. And that is the concept that two particles, they remain connected no matter the distance. So if they take a particle and they divide it into the exact same particle, they divide it in two, and they put one particle here in Vancouver Island, where I am, and the other particle in New Zealand, on the other side of the world. You do something to a particle, and automatically the same happens to the other particle. So that means that it doesn't matter how far away it is. They are entangled. There is a connection that we don't physically see. But that's another concept that I thought was fascinating, that everything is connected beyond space and time, right? So, and then there is another one that is called superposition, right? Parallel realities. I'm sure that you guys have heard of parallel realities. Basically, it means that everything exists in the here and the now. It means that time is an illusion. It means that There is no past, there is no future. Everything is here and now. And we just have to connect to that reality by becoming that reality. So we do that by tuning into like a radio frequency. When you have a radio and you want to connect to a specific station, when you connect to one station that you want to listen to, that doesn't mean that all the other stations are not there now. Everything is here and now. What you are doing with the radio, you are just synchronizing to the specific frequency of the program that you want to listen to. Same happens with the TV. All the channels are here and now. You just have to connect to the one that you want right now. But everything is here and now. So there is no past, future. Everything is here and now. So it's an infinite amount of possibilities in the here and now. So that's also very, that says that time and space are illusions, that everything exists here and now, and that time is a tool to be able to experience transformation, right? So, and I want to bring the example of a movie. Okay, so when you look at a movie, the director, when he or she's creating the movie, he or she has all the information, all the photographs, all the video clips, everything is here and now, and he's just deciding how to group them together. What kind of a sequences are they going to create to give an experience, to evoke an emotion, right? So the same idea can happen in life. If everything exists here and now, maybe we are crafting experiences and we are simulating time, but time really doesn't exist. But we are just creating a sequence of events that happen, and then we receive a teaching, an experience, a transformation, however you want to call it. Again, these are very generalized ideas, okay? I'm not diving into specifics today, but I really want to bring all of these concepts and ideas to the table because they are important and they can spark new ideas in you. So basically, it says that we can create our own reality that is not intellectual, it's vibrational. So we are vibrating, we are frequency, we are energy. And there is a very important one, that we are not victims, right? Like if we take this point of view, so can you accept the idea that we are 100% responsible of our life and what happens in our life? Many times that's very difficult to accept, because if things are happening to you that you don't understand, accepting the idea that you have created that is difficult. So that's another idea, right? We are not victims. Life is not happening to us. We are creators and life is happening for us. And we are attracting and creating and manifesting everything that is happening consciously or unconsciously. But we are the creators of that reality. So that's another idea, right? So when you have full responsibility, you also have full power to change, full power to create something different. And that's where, if you think about the law of attraction and the exercise of contrast, many times you find yourself manifesting something that you don't want, and then you use that situation that you don't like, and then you flip it. You use a contrast technique to say, okay, I don't want this. So what is it that I want? And then you flip it into what you want, and then you change your attention from what you don't want into what you want. And then if all of these quantum physics that I'm sharing are true, where attention goes, energy flows, then you are gonna pay attention to what you are focusing on, so that you can focus on what you want, not on the absence, not on what you don't want. And I want to ask you a question. How many times you ask someone a question and they respond with everything that they don't want? For example, you ask, hey, what do you want in your next partner? And their answer is, well, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want that. So that's a very specific example on where is that person's attention going to. Because clearly it is not going to what they want. It is going to what they don't want. So imagine the reality that they are creating when they are looking to a future partner, and they are thinking about everything that they don't want instead of what they want. So in my life, for example, and another example is when I have an argument with my partner, Samantha, or when we are not aligned, many times I choose to become the victim. I choose to, oh, this is happening to me, or poor me, Emilio, or I am choosing to focus on me not getting what I want. I'm choosing to focus on me becoming resentful, on me choosing to become the victim, because then I don't have to do anything, right? If I'm the victim, that happened to me, and then that's it. But if I take ownership, if I choose the other one, okay, so this is happening, but I don't want this. So what do I want instead? And then I become empowered, and then I have to have the courage to ask for what I need to become that, and then that will change the reality. That will change what I am evoking. So that's another example of. So I want to bring some of the laws of the universe, because I started with the law of attraction, but there are other laws of the universe, and this is a mixture of scientific, spiritual, and you can label it however you like. Again, these are seeds, these are ideas, and you don't have to believe everything, but I invite you to practice in your own life and see what happens, right? So there is the law of vibration that states that everything is energy and everything is vibrating all the time. Okay, so there is really nothing solid. If you look at matter, no matter what you look at, it's pretty much void. 90-something% is it's empty space. It's just what we call empty space. It's not really empty because there is a lot of energy, but physically speaking, it's not something tangible, right? So we are all energy. We are all vibrating at a specific energy. Then the law of attraction is like energy attracts like energy. The law of action is we must participate, not just think. So the idea of you have to take inspired action, otherwise things won't happen either. The law of cause and effect, everything has energetic roots. So everything that's happening, it's happening for a reason, even though sometimes we may not understand why, right? There is a law of correspondence, that inner world is a reflection, is the same as the outer world. And then there is the law of oneness, that we are all connected. And that was the entanglement that I mentioned of two particles being fully separated and them reacting the same way when you change one of them only. Okay, so it's very interesting stuff. And again, this is very general, and we are not getting into the specifics of any specific area of life yet, but I think it's important to bring this here. Okay, so then I want to bring a reminder, because I have talked about this a lot, about the emotional vibrational scale. Okay, the emotional vibrational scale, it's a scale that you can look at, and then you can see where you are in that specific moment and how you feel. And every one of those feelings and emotions that are in here, it has a specific frequency. So for example, if we start from high vibration, the top one is joy, appreciation, love. And then it goes to empowerment, and then it's passion, and then it's hopefulness. And then mid vibration is feeling bored, pessimism, frustration, irritation. And there's low vibration, can be overwhelmed, fear, grief, powerlessness. Okay, so the idea of being aware of this is that when you are trying to control your energy and your vibration, and when you are trying to really jump up that ladder so that you can attract more of what you want, it's important to honor where you are at, and it's important to find the next available state that you can access. Because for example, if you are feeling grief and someone comes and says, please be happy, experience joy, it's such a big jump that most likely you won't be able to do it. You may need a process, you may need some time, you may need to practice some self-care, right? For you to be able to then slowly. But if someone comes, if you are experiencing grief, and then all of a sudden you go from grief to feeling fear, and then from feeling fear you are overwhelmed, and then from feeling overwhelmed you are frustrated, and then from feeling frustrated you are pessimistic, and then from there you feel bored. And so as you see, you are scaling, you are going up the ladder Uh, it doesn't have to be one step at a time, but sometimes you may have a quantum leap. That means that you are making a huge change in a very short amount of time. But sometimes you may need to find what's next for me and just be okay with that and accept that that's maybe your process for a reason. Maybe there is something for there for you to learn from. Okay. Um, yeah. So then I would like to bring the concept of how does, for example, conditioning, limiting beliefs, and generational trauma works with all of these ideas that we are bringing here. And really thinking that if we think about energy and vibration, so when we look at conditioning, when we look at limiting beliefs that we have created when we were little, when we talk about generational trauma or epigenetics, that they have proven that trauma from past generations can be passed to future generations, like in the DNA. So basically, many times in my life, I sense that I have things that I am triggered to or I am affected by, but I didn't experience anything for that to be logical in my life. For example, I have a hard time with lack. I have a hard time feeling fear and feeling unsafe if I don't have enough money. And I never had lack in my life. So I don't understand why my body feels that way. So this is one example of, well, my parents did feel a lot of that. My grandparents went through a war and they didn't have anything to eat, really. So I can imagine that some of that epigenetics have been passed to me. And that's energy, that's vibration, that's emotion, right? So when we are trying to heal, that is a very common word that we all use. When we are trying to realign, when we are trying to become aware, to be more conscious, to break the habits, to break the toxic dynamics, to overcome limiting beliefs, what if everything is energy and everything is just vibration and we just have to deal with it from an energetic point of view? So yeah, so and some examples of these maybe limiting beliefs or generational trauma or however you want to label it is something like money is hard to earn. uh, I have that belief. Money is difficult because I remember first you have to work hard, and then making money, it's hard work. And first you make money and then you have fun. So first obligations and then fun. I remember that sentences, they are ingrained in my brain, right? And now I am questioning them all. No, why making money has to be hard? No, why making money is not fun? Why can't I have fun while making money? Why can't those things be together? So these are some examples of limiting beliefs, some examples of conditioning, because maybe the reality for people who were around me was that reality, and they didn't know how to overcome it. They did their best. But now I have the ability to question that. And I have the ability to, if I am the creator of my life and I become aware of this experience and I don't like it, so what if I can change that? What if I can be empowered and create a different reality for myself? And in the process, I need to overcome these limiting beliefs. I need to heal these things. I need to realign with my true self. I need to do inner child work, whatever healing modality you need to use. But what if all of this happens because that energetic stuff is stuck in there and it's not flowing properly? So regarding that, Emilio, could past trauma bring those ancestral traumas to the forefront? But I believe it can. And I believe that many times past trauma that you may have, maybe it's not even yours. Maybe it's not all yours. So yes, I totally believe that it can. Again, guys, this is very general, and the way of looking at this is always looking at specific moments of your life. Okay, take a clear, specific, real moment of your life, take a snapshot, and then use that moment to really reflect. Use your metacognition ability to separate yourself from the reality, become the observer, emotionally self-regulate, and then look at that from the point of view of what happened, What did I do? What didn't I do? What did I want to do? Or what would be my preferred way of behaving in that reality if it happens again? And then from that point of view, you become empowered to create something new. Okay? And we are going to talk about some strategies after and some people who are doing that and sharing some ways of doing that. But yeah, but healing is questioning the rule and choosing a new one. Basically, healing can be something like, well, I don't like the idea that making money is hard. I don't like the idea that love is always struggle and painful. I don't like the idea that people who are abundant are freaks or are mean. I don't like the idea. So you take any limiting beliefs, you question it, and then when you can change it and start creating and focus your attention on what you truly want, then your reality will change. Then I would like to bring the idea of intuition, synchronicities, and the higher self. And there is a very visual thing that can help you understand what is my higher self and where am I, right? Imagine that you are in the middle of a forest walking, right? And you cannot see everything in that forest. You are just seeing what's next. Oh, there is a tree here. There is a rock here. Oh, there is a bifurcation here. Where should I go, right or left? I don't know. And imagine that your higher self is on the mountain looking down and he's seeing you in the trail and he can see everything around you. And that higher self is going to tell you, hey, Emilio, if you go right, there is a cliff in there. But if you go left, there is a path that takes you to this beautiful lake and maybe you can even have a swim. So just take a left, right? But imagine that a synchronicity is just a sign. It's just a feeling of, ooh, I have the intuition that I should go left. I don't really know why, but it feels good. So I'm just going to go left. So imagine that we are all guided in that way. And our intuition is the connection that we have with our higher self, with the universe, with whatever you believe in that is bigger than you. Your angels, your ancestors, God, whatever name you want to give it. And then you are not truly alone doing this. You are guided. Okay? So imagine that idea. What if we are not alone? What if the only thing that we have to do is to follow our excitement? What if life doesn't have to be hard? What if the most fun thing is normally what we have to do? Again, these are some ideas to throw in there. But yeah, what if? I really like to say, what if making money is not difficult? What if I can have a lot of fun while I make money? What if love doesn't have to be hurtful? What if, and then you can use this for anything that is present in your life, right? Yeah, so can you look at Madeline's question? Let me see if I can find it. What was the second part of the sentence? Okay, I don't know what sentence you are referring to. Healing is questioning the rule, the limiting belief, and yeah, so Madeline, the idea of healing, realigning is just basically you taking the time to first discover what your limiting belief is. You can call it limiting belief. You can call it conditioning. You can call it what occurring view. You can call it blockage. You can call it resistance. But basically healing or realigning will be you questioning what you believe to be true, what you believe to be possible, and then overcoming that by creating something different. So for example, let's take the money example. If I believe that making money is hard, if I believe that making money is not fun, then I am going to sabotage myself when I want to make money because I want to have fun and I don't want to work hard. So unconsciously, I will self-sabotage myself because I believe that making money is hard and making money is not fun. If I can question that and say, is that really true? And then if I can see a real example of, I can see someone that is making money and they are not working hard and they are having fun while doing it. So all of a sudden you can question that belief and then you can heal it in the way that you change and say, okay, making money can be fun, making money can be easy. I don't need to struggle to do that. I can do what I love and make money at the same time. So again, and this is not, maybe sometimes doesn't go from one to the other. Sometimes there is a process for you to be able to believe that that's possible, but you are getting started in your journey of transformation, in your journey of realigning, in your journey of manifestation, manifesting what you truly want, not putting more energy in what you don't want. um, I hope I answered your question. um, so let's bring some examples of real people and a movie and real sentences from real people that you can listen to and you can be inspired by, and people I admire, people I listen to, and people that I think that if you are curious, you can check them out. And I'm sure there are many other ones that I'm not aware of that are doing amazing work at this. But basically, one of those persons is Joe Dispenza, right? He says that if you change your state, you change your reality. He says that meditation shifts energy field, and then your physical body will change because the physical body is basically like a hologram. It's a representation of your energy field. So if you go to your energy field and you change your energy field, your physical body is going to change pretty fast. And then he has created miracle healings all over the world with so many people. You can watch amazing stories. I did spend one full week with him doing a long week meditation. And they have a whole team of scientific people demonstrating things, collecting data. They took the coronavirus and they injected it to people. Some people were meditators and some people were not. And then people who were meditating and they were taking care of their energy, the coronavirus couldn't even infect the cell. So can you imagine how crazy that is? So you put the virus into someone and that person is protected. It's like, why is the virus not going inside the cell? And like that, many amazing stories that are proven scientifically now. Quantum healing is another one. They have groups of people that they gather from all over the world. They gather online and they do quantum healing in a specific person, and they can heal that person. And many other things. So this is a lot of a very specific example on how all these principles can be applied into your life. Another one that is that I really like is the movie The Secret, and there is a book, and then they talk. It's all about the law of attraction, but basically they talk about ask, believe, and receive. Your thoughts and your emotions are magnets, and then you can visualize, and then by you visualizing you can change your state and you can change how you feel. And when you change what you feel, you are changing your energy, your frequency. You change what you believe to be possible, and then you become what you want to become, right? You become the new version of yourself that you want. So another example of a beautiful movie and a book that you can read or watch. Another example is Abraham Hicks. I don't know if you guys are aware with Abraham Hicks, but basically it's Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. I think Jerry passed away, but Esther Hicks, she's still alive, and she channels the entity of Abraham Hicks, and they all talk about the law of attraction. And what I like is that they take real people, real questions from real life examples and experiences, and they give lots of information. And it's amazing just to listen to it because they use this law of attraction, they use this vibration, they use feeling good is the path. You don't have to struggle, you don't have to resist, just go with the flow. You have to take care of your vibration, of your physical and emotional state, and everything else will flow and will fall in place how it has to. So, and they have a sentence that says, you can't get a happy ending from a negative vibration. I think it's kind of funny. And then another person that I've been listening to a lot lately is Bouchard. And then he's also Daryl Anka. He's channeling a entity called Bouchard. And then they say similar things. Follow your highest excitement, do it to the best of your ability, don't have any expectations on the outcome, so don't try to control how it needs to happen. And then any resistance that you may find along the way, it's holding on to a belief that makes you afraid. So what I was talking before about conditioning, limiting belief, something that is making you feel afraid, something that is making you self-sabotage, something that is making you procrastinate, all those are things that are for you to look at, for you to question, for you to realign with. And then once you believe that is possible, once you believe that it's possible to make it happen, then you can make it happen. And then another idea that fits really well in this is the somatic healing, right? The idea that the trauma, any of these experiences may get stored in our body as stuck energy that we have to release. And then there are so many ways of releasing that stuck energy. And then if we bring the chakra system that we all have, and if you believe that we have energy centers or chakras, and then we have energy running through the Kundalini energy, chi, prana, however word you want to call it. But basically there are ways for you to harmonize that energy. There is ways for you to eliminate blockages. You can use breath work. You can use the shaking technique, vocal, toning, mantras. You can use yoga, stretching. You can use cold exposure, cold plunges, and then go into a sauna and then do the temperature changes. You can use EFT, emotional freedom technique, tapping. Because at the end, emotion is energy in motion. And when we have a blockage, we have a limiting belief. If we look at it from an energetic perspective, what's happening is that the energy is just not flowing well. It's just getting stuck somewhere. And imagine if we are all born fully perfect, love flows through us, energy flows through us with no problems. And then as we go through life, as we experience things, we start generating blockages. And the only job that we have to do is to remove the blockages. So really, we don't need to fix anything or create anything or manifest anything. We only have to take care of what we create in our energy field, we can maintain, how can we question these limiting beliefs and this resistance. And then we can do that through following our excitement. We can do that through becoming aware of what's present, by becoming curious and questioning things. So yeah, imagine if our only job is to just be excited and follow the thing that excites us the most in every moment of our lives. That would be amazing. Petra says, will singing, playing music and dancing release some of that energy? Absolutely, Petra, of course. Why not? This is going to be different for each person. We can call it self-care too. We can call it nurturing your energetic field. You can call it however you want, but yeah, any activity that really empowers you and makes you feel well, it can be a vehicle for you to kind of move that energy and help you balance and help you feel better. Okay. Yeah, and then I have a few quotes and sayings that I would like to share, and then I can open this for a few questions if you guys want to. But I want to share some of these quotes or sentences that maybe you have heard them, maybe you haven't. But basically, one of them is, be the change that you want, that you wish to see in the world. This is from Gandhi, right? So be the change that you wish to see in the world. So he's basically saying you have to become what you want to see outside. So you don't have to wait for the outside to change so that you will change. It's the opposite, right? Henry Ford has one that is good. Whether you think you can or think that you can't, you are right. So basically he's telling you the power of belief, right? And Bruce Lipton has a lot of research about the power of belief. And he has proven scientifically how if we believe for something to be true and possible, the reality is going to manifest that way. And if we believe that it's not possible, and he breaks it down to the DNA and what happens, and it's incredible. You can watch him and his theory. But basically, that's what Henry Ford was saying, really long time ago. That if you believe you can do it, you are right. If you believe you cannot do it, you are right, and your reality is going to match whatever you believe. Then Abraham Hicks says you are the creator of your own reality. Buddha says we are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. And then some embodiment and state of being quotes. Fake it until you make it. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you guys all are aware of that sentence, right? Just fake it until you make it. So what is that sentence telling you? That sentence is telling you to fake it until you become that. So basically, you have to embody that until it becomes your reality outside of you. So I will say, instead of fake it until you make it, you can change it to rehearse it until you make it, because you are practicing to become someone else. Act as if what you do makes a difference, because it does. And then there is another one. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. So this one is really, really talking about the law of attraction. It's talking about like attracts like, right? So you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So if we think about abundance, if we think about money, for example, if I say I want money, I am not gonna get it because I am not abundant. I don't feel abundant in this moment. But if I feel abundant and if I look at my reality and I am grateful for everything that I have, and I understand that abundance is not just money, abundance is love, abundance is everything that we receive, attention, etc., and you truly feel abundant in yourself, then your situation outside is going to change and you are going to attract more of that because that's what you have become. So energy flows where attention goes, another one. And then let me see. What you seek is seeking you. This is from Rumi. Another one from Wayne Dyer is, this one is nice. I love Wayne Dyer. It says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay? So listen to this. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And maybe that's why I am doing all this series, because I really want to change the way I look at things, and I really want all of us to look at things from a different perspective, because they will change. And I can't wait to see what we see. This one from Rumi is also really nice. It says, the universe is not outside of you. Look inside yourself. Everything that you want, you already are. So this also talks about the idea that what's inside is outside, the idea that all this physical environment is a manifestation of our energy field, and basically it's a reflection of what's inside of us. And everything that happens, we have created it inside of us first, and it's just projected outside. And some people talk about a hologram, that reality is a hologram. Some people talk about that reality is a virtual reality. It's like a game that we have created. And Joe Dispenza talks about this. Greg Braden talks about this. And I don't know, it's fascinating. I was in Gaia. Gaia is like the Netflix for kind of spirituality. It's a platform where you can consume a lot of content. And they have such amazing shows. And I was there for a year. And I did watch a lot of stuff from different people. And it was fascinating what people shared. So I am not afraid at the idea that all of this is virtual reality, that we are all dreaming here. It doesn't really scare me, and I don't think it's crazy. Is it true? I don't know. But I mean, the same way that you wake up from a dream and the dream felt so real, but then you wake up in this reality. What if we can wake up when we die and it was all a dream? What if the movie Matrix is real? If you guys have watched the movie Matrix, what if that's what's happening? Our soul is having these experiences to experiment things, and it's basically like a game. And we just come here, we choose kind of the general environment, but we still have free will. And what if all of this is just like a game that we have created? And then we will wake up and it's like, oh, that was nice. I'm going to go again. Boom. And then you come back. Like, who knows, right? Again, throwing in ideas to plant seeds and to evoke conversations. Yeah, and I think we have a few minutes left. So maybe if you guys have any questions, if you guys want to share anything, I deeply resonate with the last one. Change your perspective. Yeah, like Albert Einstein has a very famous quote that says, "You cannot solve a problem with the same mind that created it." He said that, right? So basically, what he's telling you is that you cannot solve a problem with the same state of being, with the same mind, with the same embodiment, with the same emotion that created that problem. That's why, how many of you guys, like, I remember when I was studying sometimes at school and I was sitting in my desk, I was forcing myself to learn something, and I was there for like 40 minutes and it's like, it just doesn't go in. I'm just struggling here. And I learned, okay, get up. I will go to do something exciting. At that time, I think I was biking a lot. So I will go for a 40-minute bike ride. I will adrenaline, go up the mountain, go down the mountain, have fun jumping, take a shower, sit on the chair, look at the same thing I was looking before. Oh, and then just fly through it. Before I was stuck, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is easy, boom, done. So how many of you have experienced that? Just changing and then coming back to it with a different perspective just solves everything, right? So yeah, very interesting stuff. So I find that learning hard songs, go away and leave it for a time and it seems easier. Yeah, Peta, I really resonate with that, because every time I have learned a song, I practice to the best of my ability and then I leave, and then I can see a lot of progress as I come back and I learn the lyrics, and then I learn the chords, and then I kind of practice the sequences, and then when I come back it's like, oh, it's kind of flowing better than before. And before it seems to be stuck, but there is always something happening. I think we are always processing, and that helps us make things easier and better. I like this one. This quote says, "Leap and the net will appear." So leap and the net will appear. And I can say with different words, jump into the void, jump into the unknown, and the net will appear after you jump. If you are on the edge looking down and you don't jump, the net will not appear. So that's really a nice one that talks about the uncertainty, talks about stepping into the unknown, stepping into the uncomfort, out of your comfort zone, and having the courage to believe, to trust, to have faith, to believe that whatever needs to happen will happen. And then you will jump, and then something will show up then. But if you don't jump, nothing will show up. So this is, I always talk about this when we are struggling. Always take the next available step. You don't need to have all the information. You don't need to know what's going to happen. But if you take the next available step, then the following one is going to appear, and then the next one will appear. It's like when you are crossing a river, right? You look at a river, there are lots of stones, and you want to cross the river, but you don't want to get wet. So if you try to map out what you are going to do to get to the other side, it's very overwhelming, and most likely you won't know where to go. But if you get started and then you step into the first stone and then you look, oh, that one seems easy, then you go to the next one, and then, oh, that one seems easy, you go to the next one. All of a sudden you look back and you have crossed the river. But if you didn't get started, that clarity wouldn't appear. So this appears with every area of our lives, right? When we are struggling with something, just take the next available step and trust that the following one will appear at the right time. Um, so yeah, very empowering. Uh, yeah, Carl Jung says, "What you resist persists." That's another one that is talking about us focusing our energy in what we don't want, and then we are giving it more and more power, right? Um, Patrick says, "Will you be talking more about intuition in a subsequent class?" Um, yeah, Patrick, I think we can jump into intuition in any of the topics really, because intuition is gonna be something that is going to be a commonality for everything that we do. Because intuition is, you can find the definition, but basically to me, intuition is your ability to connect with your higher self, your ability to be guided by something outside of you, your ability to sense what needs to happen without having to explain it, without needing to have a logical reason of why that is that way. And intuition connects with synchronicities, connects with receiving signs, coincidences, you may call them. And then it's your courage to take action on those coincidences. And then your courage to trust that, don't self-doubt yourself. Like when you start connecting with yourself, in my experience, many times when I have a coincidence, when I have a synchronicity, when my intuition is trying to tell me something, sometimes I feel something. Sometimes I feel energy going up my head. Sometimes I feel like something on my, like a solar plexus and then going up. Sometimes it just feels out of the ordinary. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you have an encounter with an animal and it just feels out of the ordinary. Like the other day, I was walking Finn, the dog I'm taking care of. I went to the park and I was walking from the beach and I was hearing this raven. He was on a tree pretty close to me. He was just losing it, right? And it's like, I don't know why he's doing that. Whatever. I keep walking and then I walk and then he flies and then he lands beside me. He starts and then I go to the park and then he comes to the tree and then he keeps doing the same thing. And I look at the message of the raven. I have a book, and if you don't have a book of animal messages, you can look it online. What is the spiritual meaning of encountering a raven, for example? And you will get a message. Sometimes it's that simple. Sometimes it's just, you just have to be open to it. You just have to create the space and the time to receive that synchronicity, and to understand that this is your intuition guiding you. The idea that I was talking about, your higher self is on the mountain top. He can see everything. He can see the plan. And we are taking action by walking one step at a time in the middle of the forest. That is an analogy for, okay, what if I do have help? What if I just have to get out of the way? What if I don't need to have all the information? What if my only job is to sense with my intuition what feels best in this moment and take action on it? What if it was that simple? And we are all here struggling so much, trying to make everything happen, controlling the outcome, understanding, trying to force something into a specific way, and maybe it just doesn't have to happen that way. So yeah, what was the message of the raven? Massive change, massive emotional change. And as I was hearing to him, it felt like, wow, you are really telling me that I'm going through a turmoil of change in my life, that I have to be compassionate, that I have to be open, that I need to trust that what seems to be chaotic and what seems to be disintegrating, what seems to be unsafe, what seems to be you are not doing the right thing, or it's just not true. It's just a process that I'm going through. And I just have to honor it and be patient and not identify myself and my self-worth and my identity with what's happening outside. I think all of this that I have shared today here is all saying that it doesn't matter what's outside of you. It doesn't matter what's happening. The only thing that matters is how you react to that and what you decide to do with that. And I am learning how to decide to just be myself, to be happy, to self-regulate, and to learn how to don't let all the external things affect me so much. And it's a work in progress because it's difficult to do it all the time. But I think that it's just exposure, practice, embodiment, remembering, becoming conscious, and then just keep doing that every day to the best of your ability. So yeah, that was the message that I received from the Raven. Yeah, so guys, that's everything I had for today. If you guys have any specific questions before we go, I can stay a couple more minutes. But today, it was the foundation for this series that we are going to dive deeper into decluttering and organizing your home, and then how to use these principles in that area, and then communication with your partner, managing your time, using your executive functioning skills, sacred sexuality and intimacy, and abundance and money and finances. And it can be really any area. I think I have one about creativity, and I'm sure I will probably schedule more as we go through the series. We're going to keep discovering what's next. Strength to explore the void. Raven is about magic in my book, Strength to Explore the Void. Peta, beautiful. I love that. Exactly. That's how I feel in my life, because everything is so uncertain. About my home, about my work, about my relationship, about everything in my life. Everything is so uncertain, right? So I feel in the void. And sometimes it's like, I just want to feel something under my feet. I just want certainty somewhere. And I think the universe is saying, no, you have to stay there until you can be comfortable there. This is the time. There is no more distractions. There is no more avoiding. There is no more comfort. You have to stay comfortable here, and then everything else will come. But you have to stay here until you learn the lesson. And I think that I am slowly learning that lesson of exploring the void, learning from it. And one of the results is this series, because this series is about me exploring myself and my life too. And I am using you guys as an excuse to show up and do this. So thank you. Amazing, guys. So thank you so much for your presence as always. Thank you, Rosie. I'm glad that you found this interesting and great. So more to come. Stay tuned. And I invite you to explore these topics, whatever you resonated the most with, whatever sparked your curiosity, whatever you felt a big resistance to, or you felt like, that cannot be true. Anything that is extreme, it's a nice opportunity for you to explore. Like, why am I feeling this intensity emotionally about this? And I'm sure there is something else for you to learn there. And maybe that is your intuition guiding you into what's next for you. So Madeline says, I used to interpret the Raven as pay attention now, awareness, and sometimes it's the spirit saying, I see and witness you in what you are going through. Yeah, that's beautiful, Madeline. I love it. Yeah, like I'm not alone, right? I am guided, I have support, and it's there for me anytime I create space and time for it. And I forget so many times to ask for help. And I try to do it everything alone and by myself, because that's what I was trained to do. But it doesn't have to be that way. Yeah. Amazing, guys. Thank you. And I hope to see you in the next session if you want to make it. And as always, anytime you feel inspired to make a donation, I will receive it with love. And I hope to see you in the next. It's going to be every week on Fridays at the same time, okay? And if you feel inspired to come to the Winter Circle, that happens every Wednesday. And that is a place for some of us to be connected, okay? And I have to go because someone is calling me from the outside. Bye.